Well, I'm clicking go live, but it's not. All right, ladies, look at the social media accounts and make sure that we are live on all of the platforms before we get started. Can y'all do that for me? This is my first
Yeah,
time going
let
through
me go to
these
my Facebook.
platforms on Restream. So, and let me see what's going on with Instagram here. Do, do,
Yes.
do, do. Yes. You say yes?
Yes, ma'am. We are
Okay, it looks
live.
like I'm live on Instagram as well. I love the fact that now you can go live on Instagram with streaming platforms because in the beginning that was not the case. So, hey, if you all will help me, I know we've got our publisher, Whitney, that's going to be checking out Facebook and all the comments that are coming in there. So, if y'all will just kind of look at LinkedIn, I see it. I see it. And let's see, I'm on YouTube. I think you're on X. We're on Instagram. We are taking over these internet streets tonight, and I could not be happier. So
Social media takeover.
let me go ahead and make sure my stuff is on silent, and we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the virtual book release. I wish I had a drum roll. Yeah. I've already started on my celebration. We'll say that. I am Quisha Umemba. I am so excited to be hosting this hopefully less than 30-minute segment to introduce to you our co-authors and our book that just launched on Amazon today, Public Health Entrepreneurship, Navigating the Intersection of Purpose and Profit. We are so excited about this book and about the potential that this book has to transform public health. So one thing I like to say is public health needs a transformation. It needs a revolution, and that is not going to happen from the inside out. I believe it's going to happen from the outside in. So we're going to talk about the book. Before we get into it, let's do a quick introduction so that you can meet these dynamic ladies that are on the virtual stage with me tonight. I'm going to start with Dr. Giovanni Spinner. If you will just take one moment, don't give them too much. If they want to know more about you, they need to get the book. Don't give them too much, but just give them a little bit about who you are, how you serve, and what type of public health consultant you are.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm super excited to be here tonight. So, I'm Dr. Giovanni Spinner and founder of Beacon Public Health. And the way that I serve is that my organization impact of chronic diseases, primarily among Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So what does that really mean? Equitable public health programs. We are helping organizations build their capacity. They know how to act right. They know how to engage with us, and they know how to produce results in a way. And then we're also advocates for public health and raising awareness of what we can do to help build and create and support healthier communities, education as well. So some of our core areas are, of course, those chronic diseases. We've been focusing a lot on maternal health, particularly around Black mothers. So excited to be here.
I love it. Now, before I go to Jamitra, can you just say, in a very short sentence, if you could identify as one type of consultant, when you introduce yourself, you say you are what type of public health consultant? What is your expertise?
Oh, my expertise is in health equity. I'm a health equity consultant.
Health equity consultant.
That's it.
I love it. Now, I have a little bit of, I don't know if it's delay on your end. I don't know if you hear that, Jamitra, when Dr. Spinner talks or not, but we just going to keep on pushing through. Hopefully that doesn't come across to the listeners and viewers. All right, Jamitra, give us a 1 minute, 2 minute spiel on you, your business, how you serve, and the type of consultant that you are.
Hi, guys. My name is Jomitra Hawkins Sneed. Joe is so much easier to remember and say, so you can call me Joe. I am the CEO and principal consultant of Equity Bridge LLC, where we bridge the gap between government entities, community-based organizations, nonprofits, and institutions now. So we work in the community to really make sure that we're engaging the correct way with the community. One of my mottos is, don't give the community just what you have, give them what they need and what they're asking for. So all in a nutshell, I am a community advocate, community leader, and a community partner. I work directly with the community to make sure that we have public health programs that affect us and are relevant to us.
I love it. And your expertise, would you say, was community engagement or something else?
Absolutely. Health equity, of course, health and racial equity, but also community engagement is my number one, and CHW implementation.
I love it. I love it. We all kind of share that as well. Well, I will introduce myself now and then we'll get into it. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Quisha Umemba, CEO of Umemba Health LLC, which is a public health workforce development consulting and training agency. We help healthcare organizations and public health systems to educate their frontline workforce, to empower their leaders, and to to expand community presence, to elevate the lives of the individuals and communities that they serve. I also am the principal of Quisha Umemba Consulting, where I teach helping professionals how to leverage their expertise and experience, how to package their genius, and monetize their skill set to start, build, and scale profitable public health consulting businesses that make impact and income. Hence the book, where we talk about navigating the intersection of purpose and profit. So one of the things that I want to do right now is really talk about the inspiration for how this book came to be. And then I'm going to ask you ladies, and you can kind of be thinking about this as I'm sharing my story, why you came on board, why you bought into this vision that I sold you. Just really why you wanted to be a part of this project. So I actually co-authored a book that launched in, I want to say, October of last year. It was a nurse entrepreneur anthology, and it was called WIN, Women in Nursing, the Entrepreneur Anthology Part 1. And I'll be very honest, I never wanted to be a co-author on a book. I can remember 2 or 3 years ago talking to a colleague saying, well, write one chapter in a book, that doesn't make you an author. Like, I would never do that, right? However, writing a book has always been something that I've had on my to-do list. And we've talked about this, Joe. So this opportunity came, and the visionary author for this particular book was looking for nurse entrepreneurs. And well, I'm a nurse entrepreneur. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and see what the book writing process is all about, see what the self-publishing process is all about. And I actually loved the experience. And so when I realized after the book was written, there were 10 co-authors on that particular book, I thought, I can do this with public health, and specifically with public health entrepreneurship. Because if it's two things I know, that's nursing and that's public health. Alexa, stop. Sorry, Alexa wanted to give me the weather report. And so I really got to thinking, like, there's nothing that's been done like this in the public health space. I really think this would be beneficial to public health professionals that are aspiring to be public health entrepreneurs, or even those that are currently, like us, public health entrepreneurs, but looking for more information about how to grow and scale your business and really just kind of navigate, again, that intersection of purpose and profit. So in doing so, it led me to offer the opportunity to co-author on this book to several individuals, you two included. And so my next question to you is, why did you decide to get behind my vision and join the project for our public entrepreneurship book? I'll start with Jamitra on this one.
So I've told this story a little bit, but I literally went down on my knees to God on a Tuesday and said, hey, I want to write a book. I want to talk about my experience, what I've been through as a public health entrepreneur, how I got here, and why I continue to do it. And literally 2 days later on a Thursday, Quisha called and said, hey, I got this book I'm writing. I thought you would be perfect to include to show your experience and your expertise in public health and what you've been doing. And I was like, wait. From my lips to God's ears, from his voice to Quisha, it was divine connection. And I knew that this was the opportunity to jump on. I was a little timid at first and not really, knowing what the process would be or how to get it done. So I had a bunch of questions, but as a public health consultant, you're going to have questions.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
what we do. So understanding like the entire process, getting more feedback, asking others about, the writing process and what that looks like. I jumped on board immediately because I knew that it was a great opportunity for my business. I knew it'd be a great opportunity for me as a professional. And I knew it would be a great opportunity just to work with Quisha again. I've had so many great experiences working with her previously. This was just a no-brainer to begin with.
I love that. Thank you so much. What about you, Dr. Spinner?
So very, very similar story. This is actually on a couple of years ago. I worked on a book, Black Women in Public Health, but that was more of a chapter, and that contribution was around the maternal mortality crisis in the U.S. In my vision board that I wanted to write a book, and I wasn't sure I have a running list to talk about. So when you approached me about it, I said, okay, this is a perfect intersection to my vision to life. And honestly, in a low-hanging fruit kind of way, right? Author, I didn't have the burden of having to do all the logistics because time has been very much of the essence here lately. But one of the other driving forces was I mentor a lot, and their question is always, how did you get started? How do you sustain your work? What type of side on the work? So I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to put that story in preference of, hey, well, you can tap into this book, and then having the expertise of, well, that also gives other opportunities to see different perspectives of consulting. That has been really good and a good experience. I'm just really hoping that the book will shed some light on what it really means to be a public health consultant, and just really the different avenues that you can be profitable and still do meaningful work and to support your community's health as well. We don't have to be poor. Okay.
I love it. And can I just say, and the readers will get this. I remember emailing you, Giovanni, after reading your chapter and saying, I cannot remember how many times I lost count of how many times I laughed out loud because your antics, like you just said, we ain't got to be poor. It comes across in her writing. She said something about, yes, I left my good government job, and I could hear you saying that. And I was in the bed with my laptop just dying laughing because I could just hear you saying that you're right. We don't have to be poor. And I think one of the quotes I put in there is, nobody becomes an entrepreneur to live paycheck to paycheck. And I think for me, that was the importance of this message, especially after interviewing so many public health consultants about this opportunity and hearing consultants say, well, I don't really want to be in a book that has the word profit on it, right? Like that is the mindset that we've kind of got to get away from. You can make a good living and make a difference in people's lives. You don't have to be a pauper and to do good things, right? And we're not saying you're going to be a millionaire because you're definitely not going to be a millionaire, right?
No.
Well, you could. You could.
But that
the right contract comes along. You just
right. Yeah, I just thought about that. The right contract comes along, but you get my point. So I love that you said that. And I just want to thank you, ladies, because I know it's not easy, right? I went through that process, and that's why I tried to share as much of the process with you all, where we were doing, what we were going, what was the next steps, because it's kind of be like, you're like, oh, I wrote this chapter, but I don't know what the rest of the book looks like, right? So I appreciate you for getting behind my vision and believing in it. And I love, let me say this also to the viewers. I tried my darndest to not just have this book feature Black women. Did I not? I tried my darndest. So what I really wanted out of this book was for it to be as diverse as the readers of the people that we want. I tried to find a male public health consultant. I tried to find all shades, all colors. And I won't get into it in this particular video. You gotta access the bonus content, that extended interviews and the bonus content where I go into some of those challenges. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, only Black women are public health consultants, that is not true. That's just who ended up in the book. And I neglected to say, and I'm so sorry I neglected to say that we have one more co-author that is not with us. That is Vanessa DaCosta. So there are actually 4 Black women that have co-authored this book. So now I digress. Let me get to the next question. Tell me about the book writing experience, what it was like for you, and what did you discover about yourself during this process? Because I don't know about y'all, but I discovered a lot about myself as a writer during this process. So, Jamitra, go ahead. I see you smiling.
I discovered I have a lot to say. I have a lot of wisdom to impart. And when I first thought about that, I was like, I got a couple of things to say. But the questions, they invoke thoughts and just how we do as consultants when we have conversations and we facilitate opportunities. It's like you start pulling things out of people. And this book started pulling things out of me that I just didn't know that I wanted to share. And it gave me a real opportunity to express my upbringing and the rest of my career and how I saw myself as a kid, but then how I saw myself as an adult. And it really allowed me to flourish in a totally different way. And now it's given me this way bigger mindset of you can actually do this on so many different levels. And to be able to speak in front of millions of people, which, I've been on stage, I've sang in front of thousands, I've done so many great things, but being at this level to impart my wisdom, my knowledge, what I've been through, my lived experience, it takes it to another level. And it gave me an opportunity to express myself that way.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Dr. Spinner? What did you learn about yourself? What was the book writing experience like for you? It's in too many words. And let me just say this also. I forgot that the publisher said we had a certain count. Okay. And then I got an invoice. Like that. I know Whitney's watching and she's probably laughing. And then I got an invoice from Whitney saying, oh, by the way, you went 30,000 words over the count. Here's your invoice. I appreciate you, Whitney. I appreciate the discount. But I know I have a whole bunch to say. Jamitra for sure. And I know you, Giovanni, because I saw the emails like, can you back it back down a little bit? So tell us what the book writing experience was like for you and what you learned about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I was stressed because that project, when I had time, I had time on my hand and sit back and think and reflect. My life really is centered around gratitude and reflection. So I'm always taking the opportunity to kind of reflect. Where am I trying to go? Where am I at right now? So having the opportunity to put pen to paper, it was overwhelming because I was like, well, which direction do I go? Which part of the story do I tell? Count. And then I got totally stressed out when the publisher came back and said, well, hey, could you ask a couple extra questions for a little bit more context? And we all know where that went. I misread. She said a paragraph. I kind of gave a little bit more, but it was so hard, really, answer about my experience in such a short period, But it really gave me the opportunity to kind of like look back over my career and see how each job prepared me for the next one and prepared me for. I always had it in my mind. And that's where I was going to go and end up in life, and to really write it down in like a chronological order was like very powerful.
Yeah. So thank y'all for that. So I will share for me, and y'all know I had 2 meltdowns. The first meltdown I had was writing the dedication, which my mom already knows the dedication is to her. I just completely came undone. I had another meltdown, just kind of thinking about my journey, those pivotal moments, and the burnout from being overworked at a health department, and just going to another job, taking a severe pay cut, living check to check. Thank God the husband did a lot of overtime, right? And I just thought about all of those things that really shaped me to where I am now. I didn't realize it was such an emotional toll on me.
Oh yeah.
It was for me. It was very emotional. Something else that I learned about myself is I don't think I think right, because I did not write this book in order. I wanted to write it in order. I set it out and I did the outline. And every time I would sit down, I'm like, I'm gonna go to chapter 11. And then I would sit down again. I'm gonna go to chapter 2. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I bounced around. So, but I don't think you can tell in the book. If you can tell in the book, y'all let me know. But I don't think you can tell in the book. So, but another thing that I found out in this process is how much I love writing. I've always loved writing, and this really just kind of, I never had time for it. I never made time for it. I would always say, I don't journal. I don't do that. I much rather type. And it's because I'm always on the move. I'm always doing stuff. I'm always, but just to be able to just sit and just release so many things. And I'm like you, Giovanni, I couldn't even put everything that I wanted to put in the book. I certainly put a lot more because I'm contracted with the publisher for 2 books. And she came and said, Quisha, I think you put everything in this book. What you gonna write in the next book? And I was like, we ain't gonna worry about that. Let's just do this book. I ain't gonna worry about that.
One proud mama. Oh.
What you say? Say that again.
Somebody wrote, I guess it's your mom.
It's probably my mom.
One proud mama.
It's my mama. It's my mama. Okay. Don't start.
I'm proud of her too, mama. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. So next question. What do you hope that readers will take away from reading your chapter? And don't give away too much. What do you think? What do you hope they'll take away? We'll start with you, Giovanni. What do you think they'll take away from reading your chapter?
I think they'll take away, I hope they come away themselves in an entrepreneurial journey, right? I not only talk about my journey, like life hacks. How do you manage yourself? How do you, things of that nature. So I hope they come away inspired and realize that you can, right? If you want to start off and this is your side gig and you want to take a contract here and there, that's going to quit your day job and, really scale it up, et cetera. I think reading the chapter, you'll see that you can do it at any level. But the key is to get started. I think once you read my chapter, that will be a recurring theme. Get started.
Get started. I love it. What about you, Jamitra?
I'm going to say that I came from really humble beginnings. My mom worked 2 jobs to try to make it work. She was a single mom majority of the time. So working and trying to support 2 daughters, 10 years apart, one in high school while I'm in elementary school, and then her in college while I'm going through middle school, high school. It was really hard. So understanding that you can come from humble beginnings and still do some amazing things. Yeah. Even though you may not have been the top in your class or the highest in college or doing the best, you can still take your lived experiences, your skills, what you were trained to do, and still be able to flourish and do some amazing things. Somebody needs what you have.
Yes. And the world is waiting on what you have to offer.
And it took me going through all of my life experience to understand the world needed what I have. And you know what? Mm-hmm. They're willing to pay for it.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not me just being boastful and saying, oh, I got it, I can do it. No, somebody needed it and were willing to pay for it. And not just pay for it, pay for what I asked to be paid for. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed, and just not my chapter, I really enjoyed some of the messaging that Quisha put in, learning about the average pay of a public health consultant, understanding like you can do this in your own home. You can make a business out of this just from the knowledge and the experience that you've already gained. And I'm hoping from my chapter, you will learn you can do anything you put your mind to. If you go out, make a plan, understand the business world, and understand all of the pieces that you're getting yourself into, learn more, understand more, stay in it so you can win. Man, you can do anything you want to do. And this is one of the things that I had on my list to do years ago. Didn't know how it was going to happen, but it happened because I kept going. If you give up, you won't get there. So never, never give up. Keep going. You can do this too.
And to piggyback on that, and it's scary.
It is.
It's scary. You don't know sometimes where your next contract is coming from, right? You don't know where the next opportunity is coming from, but you do it every day. You get up and you do it scared, you do it ugly, you do it dirty, you do it messy, but
Absolutely.
you do it. You do it. And as you do it, you get more comfortable, you get more confident, you get more experience, you get better, and guess what? You charge more for it.
Right.
Because not only do you know that you're worth it, other people can see that you're worth it as well. I love everything that both of you said. For me, I hope that what they get out of reading the other chapters of the book, first of all, I want people to understand what public health professionals do. So as a nurse, when I transitioned into public health, my family thought I was at the health department testing water and air and everything. They didn't know what I was doing when I left the hospital. So I hope that people, the general public understands this is what public health professionals, because nobody really knew until COVID happened. And then it was like, oh, that's what epidemiologists do, right? Mm-hmm. So I hope that the general public gets a better understanding of this is what public health professionals do. But then for people that are already in this space, I hope they see themselves in us. I wanted this book to be about everyday people, right? We don't have no funding from, $1 million funders or investment. We bootstrapped.
We grind, baby.
We grinded. We hustled. We all side hustled until we built our business. And now we're 100% self-employed on our own. And lastly, I want people to see you're going to wear every hat.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning. Okay. And I posted this on my LinkedIn. We're really good. I know I'm really good at sharing the wins. And thank God I have a lot of wins, but we don't share enough woes. And so I hope that they see from reading all of the stuff that we do in our chapters that they want, like, this is not for the weak. You gotta really want this, but it is so worth it. I feel that I make more impact now as a public health consultant than I ever did as a chief nurse at the health department, than I ever did as a nurse, taking care of patients one at a time by the bedside. You wanted to say something, Jamitra?
I was going to say, we struggle, and the struggle is very real.
It's real.
Especially being your own accountant, being your HR, being the boss, being the CEO, being everything you think, the janitor, the facility manager, all of those things. Like, you got to make sure that you're staying on top of it. So to be a public health entrepreneur, you definitely got to be organized in every way and financially sound. Like, when you make the money, make sure you are saving the money. You are spending it the right way. There are so many different ways that I've seen people go into business and the next year they're flat out because they spent all the money. Spend it wisely, save it. Make sure you have those times for those gaps. Make sure you know that you have enough to make sure you can maintain your business.
And that's scary in itself, right? Sometimes you don't know how much to reinvest. You don't know how much that's scary in itself. It's a fine balance. And that's why it's so important that you have mentorship, that you have a community, they didn't teach us this in school, right? There were no public health coaches. I'm a public health coach because there were no public health coaches when I decided to do this 4 years ago. I had to go out and get coaches in other industries to help me develop that business acumen. So everything that you say, everything is spot on. What is something you think that readers will be surprised to learn when it comes to public health entrepreneurship? What do you think they'll be surprised to learn? Both of you are thinking. Okay, go ahead, Jamitra. I was going to say, I'll go ahead while you're thinking. Go ahead. I was going to say, I think they might be surprised to learn, and I didn't even list the academic programs because I didn't want to miss any. But we're not taught this, as I just alluded to. And so in chapter 11, I think, of the book, I talk about where are the public health academic programs. I mean, the public health entrepreneurship academic programs. We are starting to see more of them, and that's great. But we need more courses of study on social entrepreneurship and social innovation and all of those different types of things. Like I said, so we can transform public health from the outside in. So I think that's going to be a surprise. I also think the data that I shared from my colleagues that did a research study on the state of public health workforce as it relates to public health consultants, to know, how much the average public health consultant makes, the type of contracts they work on, the type of businesses that they provide service to, et cetera. I think it's going to be eye-opening information for them as well. Go ahead, Jamitra, with your comment.
I'll just say, I think that readers will be surprised to know that they can actually do this. It is something that is in their wheelhouse. Like, I don't want anyone to walk away from this book thinking, man, she did that. Like, that's a lot. It is a lot, but it's attainable. It's something that you can absolutely do. Just with my humble beginnings, like I said, I didn't have anybody to teach me business or, go through all of that. My lived experience brought me here. I had mentors like Stanley Field. I had mentors like Tony Salah. I had mentors like Tori. I can't remember his last name. I'm so sorry, Tori. But he was my Fuse mentor. And he did an amazing job in imparting some of these gifts within me to say, Joe, you got it. You can do this. And after that, it was like, let's just put this in play. So being able to know that this is absolutely attainable.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Giovanna, you have anything to add? What do you think readers will be surprised to learn?
I think they'll be surprised about the breadth and depth of public health that you can go, right? And public health as a field is very come across in the book as well. And I think the diversity of the clientele, like who you can work with. Public health, they think of CDC, they think of the, the big name firms or whatever, but I think they'll be surprised to know that public health is everywhere you look. And so there's an opportunity for a client. Yeah. And so you got to think creatively about services, and I think they'll take away some of that from the book as well.
I love that. I love it. And I just thought about one thing also as well, because I have to shout this out because this is what I do in my business. A common thread for all four of us, and I had no idea for Vanessa, who again is not on the call tonight. We all work with community health workers. And I know there are still people that don't even know what a community health worker is and does. And we all work by either training or strategy or program implementation or some aspect. I thought that was really cool that there was a common thread among all of us. So if you're watching and you're an organization that needs help with your community health worker program, you've got 3 consultants on the call right now that can help you with training, capacity building, strategy, program development, etc. And if you're a CHW, shout out to you. We appreciate you and everything that you do for society. Okay, so now I want to just share a little bit about the book. I said 30 minutes, y'all. We're at 33 minutes already. We could probably do this for a whole hour, but we're not going to. I just want to share, if you have not gone to get the book yet, the ebook is available on Amazon. Go and grab it tonight. Go download it. It's $2.99. Like, it's not going to get any cheaper, right? We believe that you are going to love this book so much that you are going to turn around and buy it on paperback, which should be available in another week or maybe 7 to 10 days. But please go to Amazon, get the book. I just want to go over a few things. So the book is, it's about 225 pages. It's divided into 3 sections. The first part is purpose, the pursuit of equity, where I'm really laying out the role and impact of public health, entrepreneurship in the context of public health, and my journey into public health entrepreneurship. Part 2 are our profiles of impact. And so all 4 of us, including Vanessa, who is not with us, write a chapter about our businesses, who we serve, how we serve. We talk about trends that we think you should be aware of as a public health consultant. We talk about how, what else do we talk about, y'all? Y'all help me. We talk about so much in those. We talk about work-life balance even. I love, Giovanna, you talk about the self-care checklist, and Jamitra talks about pleasure, and that is my new word. She is the pleasure expert. That is business and pleasure. And don't be fooled. Now, if you're a public health consultant or entrepreneur of any type, most of your business trips are going to be pleasure. But I mean, that beats just all business, right? You get to have a little fun and pleasure while you're doing it. So that's the second part. And then the third part is the path to a profitable and sustainable public health consulting business. And I think this is where you'll find the most value, especially if you're an aspiring public health consultant and you want to help or need to know how to start your business. And so I take 3 chapters, starting your business, growing your business, and scaling your business. And I share my step-by-step secret recipe that I call Ready, Start, Launch, that has helped me skyrocket my business into success. And I share that with you. I take 2 of those steps, it's 6 steps. I take 2 for each chapter and really break that down so that you have information on how to start, grow, and scale your business. And then there's the bonus content, y'all. I mean, I think that is the price of the book alone. The bonus content that I'm not even going to tell you what all is included. You got to get the book and you got to go to the website that is mentioned in the book to know exactly what is in the bonus content. But I will say, if you are a public health professional, if you are an organization, or if you are aspiring, or even a current public health consultant, I think that bonus content is going to help take your business or your career to the next level. So at this time, I think that is all of my questions. I want to open it up really quickly before we end tonight. Are there any last thoughts? Any last comments, any last words that you want to say, that you want to share, even if it's a shout out? I'm going to give you ladies the floor now. Jamitra.
I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that's supporting me through this project. Writing this book, I had so much going on all at once. Finished up an amazing event last week, the State of African American Health, planning another event for the next month in a couple of weeks, and planning something else for the next month. So it's been a journey for sure in these last 6 months of really kind of getting things together and moving forward. So I want to thank everybody that's been supporting me in this journey. Quisha, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this process. Whitney, you have been absolutely a jewel. Just going through the process, being able to work through this with us and not just kind of pushing things through, but actually being very thoughtful, caring, and considerate through the process. We really appreciate it. All the graphics, all of the amazing content that we've been able to share on social media. These ladies have been such a jewel in helping to orchestrate all of this. So I want to thank this dynamic team for pulling this together and doing such an amazing job, and then including little old me.
I love it. I want to thank me. I love it. I love it. I know you wanted to say it. Okay, Giovanni.
Well, I don't think I can really top that, because that really echoes what I feel. Thankful to my family and friends for always holding me down, always supporting me, always going with most every idea that I come up with, but also pushing me and challenging me. Are you going to do that? Did you think about this, that, and the third? So I appreciate that, because we need people in our lives to up and show us the truth and really have our best interests at heart to make sure that we can excel in this too. Of course, thank you, Quisha, for reaching out and bringing me in to appreciate that. And Whitney, thank you for being patient with all of my questions and email. So yeah, but it's overall, it's been a really joy to work with you all, and I'm very, very good.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you all, ladies. I mean, I can't top what you said. My husband knows I love him. I put him and my son in the book. I've dedicated it to my mother. Of course, my friends and family, you're watching, or you will be, you'll be watching it later. Thank you all so much. I know y'all are always like, what is Quisha doing now? You probably gonna do that until I take my last breath, and I'm not gonna even change, because that's just who I am and how God made me. But every time I have another venture, and like you said, Giovanni, another idea, you just support me to run with it. So I want to thank you all for that as well. I'm gonna leave. I want to say one thing. If you're in the Dallas area or in Texas or want to fly in, you can come to the in-person book launch. It is going to be Saturday, March the 30th. We're all going to be there. There's going to be a co-author panel Q&A. We're going to do book reading. We're going to do book signing. There's going to be food, drinks, dancing, mingling, networking, all of those things. Visit my website, QuishaUmemba.com/events. for details and to purchase your ticket. I wanted to leave one quote. I saw this today on the Entrepreneur social media on IG. And the quote is something that Simon Sinek said. He said, if you have the opportunity to do amazing things in your life, bring someone with you. And ladies, we have done an amazing thing. We have done that together. And I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. So in the words of a good friend of mine, Elisa, she said, writing is the work and promotion is the celebration of that work. Let's celebrate. Let's promote this book. And if you're watching, help us promote this book. Support us in purchasing the ebook or the paper book when it's available in the next week. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun. Ladies, enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll talk again soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Bye, everyone.